USC is known for bringing in big-time quarterback recruits and producing high-level college quarterbacks. But their new guy goes against their typical narrative for how quarterbacks come to be there. After JT Daniels went down with his injury, true freshman Kedon Slovis was put in and took the starting job from there for the year. He had a really good freshman campaign and showed a ton of flash of the kind of player he could be in the future. A lot of scouts have him as one of the top quarterbacks in the 2022 draft, and I definitely think he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football going into this season. Today we will briefly talk about his story, his time at USC so far, and the kind of potential he has with the Trojans. I also want to talk about the hype surrounding USC this year and why I think they're a serious sleeper team. But first, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you love college football and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Be sure to give the video a like, share this video with your friends, drop a comment, and stay until the end to help the video get in the algorithm so I can continue to make more videos for you guys. Let me know what or who I should do next down in the comment section, and let's meet the future of USC football, Kedon Slovis. Kedon grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona, and loved football and basketball from a young age, but he wasn't exactly supposed to play football. His father was a basketball coach, and his mother was worried about the safety of her son. Eventually, they would make a deal though, and he was allowed to play flag football, but they agreed he could never play tackle. While he was in middle school, former 5-star recruit and current NFL quarterback Kyle Allen was tearing it up at Desert Mountain High School, and Slovis kind of looked up to him. When he eventually got to high school, his math teacher asked him what his goal was, and Slovis responded by saying, quote, to start on Saturdays for a big program. He had that goal and truly bought into it, but he was going to have to wait his turn to make it happen. Eventually, he would get a chance though, as he became the starter his junior year of high school, and he immediately showed his talent. Most quarterbacks commit by their junior year, but Slovis was a complete unknown on the recruiting trail. There was not a ton of film on him, and to make matters worse, he never really went to camps, so it was hard for a big-name school to really get behind him. Believe it or not, Kurt Warner was the offensive coordinator at his high school, and that year, Slovis would throw for 2,987 yards and 32 touchdowns with only 5 picks. Unfortunately, it was going to be very difficult to convince schools to recruit him, as this team had very little Division I talent on it, and his team had a poor record too. USC's quarterback coach Brian Ellis had found out about Slovis through all the other Arizona high school head coaches, and he had watched his film and had literally said, "Good God, who is this kid?" Ellis called Clay Helton and told him that he had found the one. He eventually committed to USC despite the fact they had Jack Sears, JT Daniels, and Bryce Young committed. His mother became concerned he wasn't making the right decision by going to USC, but he said in the worst case scenario he would walk away with a really good education and a good college experience, and that was definitely enough to have his mom sold. Kedon also decided to enroll early, and the USC players and staff knew they had something special the moment he stepped foot on the field. Clay Helton had this to say, "In Kedon's case, I watched his high school football team, which was at the end of the year and didn't have a very good team. It didn't have a ton of great players around him, and he elevated the team as high as he could possibly take them, and that really stood out to us. We saw the decision making, the timing, the accuracy, so obviously he's an incredible person and a leader." Those are some words of praise from the coach. According to 24/7 Sports, Slovis was a 3-star recruit, the number 26 pro-style quarterback, and the 705th best player in the class of 2019. Despite being only a 3-star kid, Slovis was going to be a USC quarterback, and he defied all the odds. Going into the 2019 season, Clay Helton was the coach at USC, and JT Daniels was expected to break out into a star his sophomore year. Despite that, Slovis was expected to compete with Jack Sears for the backup role. Daniels was the star of the team, but after only 2 quarters, Kedon was going to get his first chance to play. Daniels tore his ACL, and Slovis was thrusted into the starting spotlight. He completed his first career pass to wide receiver Tyler Vaughns, and it led them to a win over Fresno State. He started his first career game against number 23 Stanford the next week, and they blew the Cardinal out after his school record 4-touchdown performance. He was named the Pac-12 Freshman of the Week because of that. Things would get difficult for him though, as he threw 3 interceptions the following week in a 30-27 overtime loss to BYU, and then in their next game against Utah, he would leave the game early due to a head injury. He had a big game when he returned against Notre Dame, but the team narrowly fell short in a game that was an absolute thriller. From there, he led them to 2 straight wins over Arizona and Colorado. After putting up a career high in passing attempts against Oregon, he threw for 200 plus yards and 4 touchdowns in only the first quarter against his home state team of Arizona State, and he was named the Pac-12 Player of the Week. After throwing for 4 more touchdowns against Cal, he broke the Trojan record for passing yards in a game at 515 against UCLA. They ended up going to the Holiday Bowl against Iowa, but Slovis got injured and they lost the game 49-24 to the Hawkeyes. The Trojans ended up going 8-5, and Kedon set the freshman record for passing yards with 3,502, 30 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions. He also broke the freshman completion percentage mark with 71.8% of his throws being completed. He ended up winning the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year award, and the college football world has pegged him as one of the brightest young stars in the game. Slovis is actually so good that he scared off both JT Daniels and Jack Sears, as JT transferred to Georgia, as we all know, and Sears transferred to Boise State. Hopefully, Kedon doesn't get injured and he can have a full sophomore year. Personally, Slovis is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the country, and I am super pumped to watch him this year. I usually don't like USC football, but Kedon has changed the narrative for me, and I will try and watch as many USC games as possible. Many scouts believe that Slovis is not only a college star in the making, but he's also projected to be a first-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. With recent quarterbacks such as Matt Barkley, Cody Kessler, and Sam Darnold, Kedon has big names to live up to, but I think he has the potential to be better than all of them, and I am really excited to watch him this year. He has gotten healthy and added strength and size. This has also made Slovis' arm, and apparently Slovis' arm talent has been taken to a new level in fall camp. Clay Helton said, quote, "I think he's just developed a lot of core strength, and he's always had great arm talent, but now he's making every throw on the field. I mean, he's making back shoulder throws 35 yards down the field, and everybody on the field goes, whoa. I mean, you gotta have some special arm talent and strength to be able to do that." The Trojans opened up against Arizona State, and arguably the two best quarterbacks in the Pac-12 will face off in their week 1 of the 7-game schedule. In terms of USC, I really like this team in 2020. I think Marquis Stepp will break out at running back, and they have so much talent at the wide receiver position. If Helton can coach, Slovis steps up, and the team plays to their talent level, I think they could go undefeated in the Pac-12. And who knows from there? What do you guys think of Kedon and the USC Trojans, though? I definitely want to know your thoughts. And I want to know who you guys think is the best quarterback in the Pac-12. Before you go, be sure to give the video a like, share it with your friends, comment your thoughts, and check out all my other videos about meeting the future. I'll be doing videos on all the Pac-12 players these next 2 weeks, so be sure to turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload, and if you're new, subscribe so you don't miss any of those. Let me know who I should do next down in the comment section, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. But until next time, peace.